Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and Apple's event just wrapped up. I just got done watching it and I wanted to talk about all of the new products and announcements and features that Apple just announced at its new event. So let's get right into the video. Let's not waste any time. Let's talk about the new Apple Watch Series 4, the new iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and of course the iPhone XR. So let's go with the first thing Apple announced, the Apple Watch Series 4. Now, the most striking and most noticeable thing about the Apple Watch Series 4 is the brand new design that's different from the Series 0, Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. This is a brand new design. If you've seen the leak, if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll notice it's the same leak we've been seeing with this rounder display. It's not exactly a circle, but the square is actually more rounded. The display goes more edge to edge as opposed to kind of just being a little square box inside of the Apple Watch. It is a really, really nice looking redesign of the Apple Watch. Apple also said the Series 4 Apple Watch is actually going to be thinner. I don't think they really mentioned how much thinner it's going to be in the event itself, but it is a thinner design, which is always welcome because the Series 3 actually got thicker from the Series 0 to the Series 1 to the Series 2. It actually got thicker every year. So the Series 3 was actually thicker than the first Apple Watch, so it's going to be nice to go to a more thin design. Now, right off the bat with this Apple Watch, you can see that it has a 30% larger screen, and it's actually going to come in two new screen sizes from 42mm and 38mm. That's going to go to a 44mm and 40mm screen size. The same Apple Watch bands from your 38 or 42mm will work with the corresponding sizes. So the 38mm bands will work with the 40mm, and the 42mm, of course, will work with the 44mm. And with this big new screen that's 30% larger, Apple included new watch faces, new analog watch faces, new digital watch faces, new complications that are more interactive and give you more data than the previous Apple Watch complications, and new visuals. They look really, really nice and really powerful for Apple Watch users. Now, there were actually a couple new hardware changes to the Apple Watch Series 4 besides from this brand new redesign. They actually added haptic feedback to the digital crown. So as you're scrolling through, you'll actually get a nice haptic feedback. If you ever use some of the more recent iPhone models, you'll know that Apple is actually really good with its haptic feedback. If you're scrolling through an iPhone, you'll feel each click from your finger as you're scrolling through, and that's actually going to be part of the digital crown now. Apple also changed the location of the microphone from the Apple Watch from this side over here where the speaker is to actually the middle of the Apple Watch between the digital crown and the side button. So that's actually going to separate the microphone from the speaker, making it easier for the microphone to pick you up and reducing echo and things like phone calls. The speaker itself is actually going to be 50% louder this time, so it'll be easier to hear calls, or maybe as you're talking to Siri, it'll be easier to hear her responses to you. I don't think they're going to allow you to do something like music playback through that watch yet, but I do believe actually if you're watching video, you can hear that through the Apple Watch as well. So louder speaker is always welcome inside the new Apple Watch. So the back of the Apple Watch Series 4 actually got a redesign as well. It looks pretty cool and futuristic. It's going to be made of ceramic and sapphire, and it's actually going to allow for better reception through that encasing. So cellular connectivity, Wi-Fi signal should be able to easily pass along through the Apple Watch, and that will create better reception. I know when the Series 3 released, there were some concerns about the reception in this, so the Series 4 Apple Watch should have better cellular reception. The Apple Watch Series 4 is going to have a really nice performance improvement with the new S4 chip. This is a complete redesigned system on a chip that's going to have a dual-core processor inside of it that's up to 2 times faster from the Series 3 Apple Watch. It's also going to include its own Apple-made GPU that is also up to 2 times faster than the previous Series 3 Apple Watch. Performance upgrades in the Apple Watch are always nice. It's not like the apps are taking that much power, but as the Apple Watch evolves, as new features come into it, having a faster processor is going to be a good thing, so it doesn't slow down. If you ever had the first edition of the Apple Watch, you would know how slow it was at times. So any speed performances, anything that can make those interactions quicker with your Apple Watch is a welcome improvement. Now, Apple also added some new health features. Some of them are welcome and really, really cool, and some of them are weird. They actually added falling detection, so if you fall over and you're on the ground for more than a minute, it will automatically call emergency services. I'm not too sure about how this feature will work. What if you jump into bed? Will that pick it up as a fall? Maybe you're laying in bed for a minute, and then all of a sudden emergency services comes to your house and goes, hey, are you okay? Hopefully this feature doesn't malfunction, but it will be a really nice feature, especially if you have, older grandparents or parents who are living on their own. This will actually be kind of like those life alerts where, that famous commercial, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. That will be on the new Apple Watch Series 4, so it's another health activity detector to help save people's lives. Apple also added AFib detection. There was a study with Stanford Medical. I was actually part of that study, and they were basically collecting your heart rhythm data. So with the Apple Watch Series 4, it should actually be able to pick up on AFib, which is basically an irregular heartbeat, and that can actually be pretty deadly. So this Series 4 Apple Watch will actually be able to notify you if there's an irregularity in your heartbeat and tell you to seek medical attention. So another life-saving benefit, another health benefit to wearing your Apple Watch every day. And it doesn't stop there. Apple Watch is also getting ECG detection, which monitors your heart rate electronically. This is a huge milestone for the Apple Watch along with the AFib detection. These are the first consumer products that are FDA approved right over the counter that are regulated to do this. So these are huge health benefits to people who wear the Apple Watch, and it is a huge upgrade to anyone concerned about their heart rate to upgrade to that Apple Watch Series 4 and get these nice new advanced features. And aside from that, it comes in a brand new gold stainless steel color. Again, this is a nice option for people who really like that first Apple Watch edition, which was $10,000. So this is going to be the Apple Watch stainless steel gold, a little less expensive than that. It's going to be around $700 for that gold finish. And unfortunately with the Apple Watch Series 4, the prices have increased a bit. So if you get the basic model with GPS only, not a cellular connection, it's actually going to be $400, which isn't too bad. That's what the Apple Watch originally launched at. And if you're going for the 44mm size, the bigger screen, it's going to be an extra $20 at $420. Now the real pain point is if you're like me and if you have a cellular Apple Watch, you're actually going to be paying $500 for the base model 40mm Apple Watch and $520 for the 44mm Apple Watch. That is a pretty hefty price increase. I believe last year's models were $400 and $420 for the cellular connectivity. So adding another $100 on top of that, plus paying $10 a month for that Apple Watch plan, that is a lot of money for an Apple Watch. Obviously, I really do love the cellular connection. I'm a huge fan of the Apple Watch. It's one of my favorite products. So I'm really excited to pick up the Apple Watch Series 4. I'm gonna get the cellular version, but I'm super excited to get the Apple Watch Series 4. I can't wait to get it on this channel and give you some more information on it. Obviously, it's been a huge benefit to me, one of my favorite Apple products, but let's move on to the new iPhone. So you have the new iPhones. There's 3 new iPhones. You have the iPhone XS, the iPhone XS Max, and the iPhone XR. Let's go ahead and start with the iPhone XS. So the iPhone XS is very similar to the iPhone X. I'm gonna start with that one because there aren't too many changes there. It's the same design as the iPhone X. It's the same starting price at $1,000. Same storage capacity, 64 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes. There actually is a third storage capacity, a 512 gigabyte option. And they also announced the iPhone XS Max, which is a little bit of a bigger upgrade because it has a bigger screen. It has a 6.5 inch Super Retina OLED screen. That is the biggest screen on an iPhone yet. The body styling is very similar to the iPhone Plus model, so it should be about the same as the iPhone Plus model in terms of size. Because of that bigger screen, it's going to have an increased resolution of 2688 by 1242, 3.3 million pixels, 450 ppi. That's the same as the iPhone XS. And it's going to have split view on the iPhone XS Max. If you ever had the iPhone Plus series, you'll know that if you rotate it into landscape orientation, you'll actually get 2 columns on certain applications. So the iPhone XS Max is going to borrow that as well. And the only really major difference besides screen sizes from the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max is the battery life. So on the iPhone XS, they actually said you're going to get an additional 30 minutes of battery life. But on the iPhone XS Max, you're actually going to get an hour and 30 minutes battery life compared to the iPhone X. The iPhone XS also comes in that brand new stainless gold color like the Apple Watch Series 4. It's a nice new gold color. But that's about it in terms of the design. There's nothing really strikingly different about it. It is an S upgrade cycle, so it has the same body except for the XS Max, which obviously is bigger, but it is the iPhone X style design, and the only differentiator between that is that new gold color. So let's talk about what's new on the inside with the new iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max. They're both going to have the same A12 Bionic chip. This is the first Apple 7nm chip. Apple's claiming it's the first 7nm chip actually in production. It has a 6-core CPU design, a 4-core GPU Apple design. This is the first iPhone, I think, with a complete GPU designed in-house by the Apple team. And both the A12 performance in CPU and GPU is going to be a 50% performance increase compared to the iPhone X. But the performance inside the phone didn't stop at the A12 chip. We also have a brand new camera system inside of the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max, which has a smart HDR option, which is going to increase HDR by stitching together tons of different photos at different exposures, at different time intervals, and at different frames to create the best picture with minimal blurring, low noise production, anything that can make that picture better with higher dynamic range and contrast as well. Apple also added a really cool new slider that's going to let you control bokeh. So on the camera app, you'll actually get a slider that can change the bokeh from anywhere from f1.4 to f1.6. Also a bunch of video improvements to the iPhone XS as well, so you're going to get nicer video, especially in low light. You're also going to get some nice stereo sound in your video recordings as well, so that'll be really nice for iPhone filmmakers. When I get the iPhone XS, I actually want to do some video shot directly on the iPhone XS to see if it can actually replace my Sony 4K mirrorless DSLR that I have. The iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max are actually going to get IP68 certified, waterproof and dust resistant, so this is increased waterproofing for that iPhone series. And the iPhone XS is also going to have gigabit LTE. This will be the first time the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max have gigabit LTE. It's going to have a dual SIM option. So that dual SIM option is actually going to be an electronic eSIM in every iPhone, and then a SIM tray card slot. So one of your SIMs is going to be virtual, and the other SIM is going to be physical. And if you're watching this and you happen to live in China, you'll actually get an iPhone design that actually has a SIM tray with 2 SIMs. So you can put one on the front and one on the back and have 2 physical SIM designs. That is exclusive to the China market in the Apple keynote. So if you're in any other country, you're not going to be getting that, but you will get the electronic SIM in those Apple devices. iPhone XS is going to start at $999 for the base model for 64 gigabytes, and it's going to go all the way up to 512 gigabytes. The iPhone XS Max is going to start at $1099 for 64 gigabytes, and again, go all the way from 256 to a 512 gigabyte option, with prices increasing along the way. This obviously is an S upgrade cycle for these phones. If you have an iPhone X already, it doesn't look like there's really any reason to upgrade to the iPhone XS. But if you do want that bigger screen phone, it does look like there is enough compelling reasons to upgrade to the iPhone XS Max for that bigger screen, for the faster CPU, for those camera improvements. Couple that together, that might be a compelling upgrade. But even then, it doesn't really look like there's too much reason to upgrade from an iPhone X to the iPhone XS series, unless you are really impatient like me and want the latest and greatest Apple technology, which is probably why you're watching this channel, so you're probably gonna want to upgrade. But wait, there's more. There's actually more. There was a third iPhone announced today, and that would be the iPhone XR. So you're thinking the iPhone XR might be a little compromised in terms of some of the specs inside of it, but it actually has a lot of the same specifications as the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max. The iPhone XR has the same A12 chip that's inside of the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max. It actually has the same camera. Now, this is a single lens camera. The iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max both have dual cameras. Apple's also going to use some software to include some of those portrait features from the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max right inside of the iPhone XR. So you're actually not really losing any features except for the zoom. You'll still be able to get that bokeh slider from the iPhone XS, and you'll also be able to do portrait mode shots and portrait mode lighting and all that other stuff that's found in the iPhone XS. The iPhone XR is also going to have Face ID. It's the same exact Face ID found in the iPhone XS, so it's the faster Face ID standard on the iPhone XR. Now, where the iPhone XR differs is that it has a different screen size. This is going to be a 6.1-inch screen size. That's actually a little weird. It's actually in between the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max, but it's going to be an LCD display as opposed to an OLED display. Apple is calling it a liquid retina display. It's going to be 1792 by 828, so it's going to be 326 pixels per inch. It's going to be less pixels per inch than the iPhone XS or iPhone XS Max, but it's still a retina class display, but it is LCD, so you're not going to get those deeper blacks and greater contrast ratios like you would find in an OLED display. Now, the most interesting thing about the iPhone XR to me is that it's actually the same design as the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max. The only really major difference is that the side bezels are slightly thicker, but it doesn't look like it's that much thicker. It doesn't look like it's a huge compromise for getting this device. You also do get some weaker waterproofing with IP67, but again, I don't think that's too much of a major difference. And the iPhone XR also doesn't have 3D touch anymore, but it does have a new feature called haptic touch, which will behave very similar to the way 3D touch behaves. And I'm actually very curious to see how this feels. They described it similar to how the Force Touch trackpad feels when you click. The iPhone XR is also going to have an aluminum frame as opposed to a stainless steel frame, but it's still going to have a glass back for wireless charging. The iPhone XR also has increased battery performance compared to the iPhone 8 Plus. It's going to be an hour and 30 minutes longer. Now you might be asking, why would I get the iPhone XR when the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max are the better phones? And that's very simple. The iPhone XR starts at $749. That is around $250 cheaper than the base model iPhone XS. And that's for the 64 gigabyte model. Actually, if you want to upgrade to a 128 gigabyte model, it's only $50 more. And that is for $800 for a 128 gigabyte iPhone XR. So yeah, the iPhone XR is actually looking to be like a really interesting phone. Sure, it's missing that stainless steel side and replaced it with aluminum, but I don't think that's a big deal. It comes in a bunch of new cool colors similar to the iPhone 5C, and it's $250 cheaper than the iPhone XS. And it also has a bigger screen than the iPhone XS. You're getting a 6.1 inch screen as opposed to a 5.8 inch screen. So that makes this iPhone really, really interesting to me. I definitely want to pick one up, and I definitely want to compare it, especially to the iPhone XS Max. I really think if you're buying an iPhone this year, I really think your choices are between the iPhone XR or the iPhone XS Max. I really don't see the appeal of going for the iPhone XS with the smaller 5.8 inch screen, the increased price. It really seems to me like if you're going for an iPhone this year, you either go for the cheaper option at $749 for the iPhone XR, or you say you want the biggest screen possible in an iPhone and you go for that iPhone XS Max. Well, I could think of another reason. If you want the iPhone XR, you are going to have to wait a little bit longer. The iPhone XR is going to be released on October 26th with pre-orders starting on October 19th, while the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max are going to start pre-orders on September 14th, and they're going to be available for pickup on September 21st. So if you're impatient, the iPhone XS and iPhone XS Max might be the iPhone you might be getting instead of the iPhone XR, even if you wanted to save money. But honestly, if you're looking to save money, I would just recommend waiting a month for the iPhone XR, and then you can make a really informed decision as reviews come out for those devices. Okay, and that's going to do it for this video, guys. Those are all the features I could think of from that keynote from the iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, iPhone XR, and Apple Watch Series 4. I feel like my head's gonna explode from saying iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max, and iPhone XR. Very confusing naming schemes going on this year, but the more I say it, the more I'm getting used to it. Anyway, if you guys liked the video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more from my channel, including reviews of all the products mentioned in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. Also, let me know what product you're most excited for. Are you excited for the Apple Watch Series 4? You're going to be picking up one. Are you excited for the iPhone XS or the iPhone XS Max or the iPhone R? Let me know what model you're picking up, what color, what capacity you're picking up. I really want to know what my audience is planning on getting. I really want to know what coverage you guys want to see the most so I can base my video content around that. So let me know, are you more excited for the Apple Watch Series 4 or are you more excited for the XS, XS Max, or the iPhone R? Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.